One of my favorite debate videos is the debate between Shelley Kagan and William Lane Craig regarding whether God is necessary for morality. And what's great about Shelley Kagan is how very charming he is. At no point does he seem to get annoyed or irritated by Craig's goofy antics. And what's great about this debate is that Craig and Kagan actually converse with each other rather than one person making some points then the other guy rebutting those points. They speak to each other face to face, and Craig seems a bit out of his element with this approach. Craig's position is that without God, there is no reason to think that human beings have any real moral value that animals do not, and Kagan, I think, does a good job of showing why that's kind of a silly idea.
Still not clear as to why these beings suddenly achieve intrinsic moral worth in virtue of having these complex nervous systems that enables them to have self-reflection and so forth.
Craig's all like, complex nervous system, why should I give a shit about that if there's no God? It's like nothing is impressive to Craig unless there's a God and God thinks it's cool.
If you put it as complex nervous systems, it sounds pretty deflationary.
Right.
What's so special about having a complex nervous system? But of course, that complex nervous system allows you to do calculus. It allows you to do astrophysics. It allows you to write poetry. It allows you to fall in love. Put under that description, you ask, what's so special about humans from a naturalistic perspective? I'm at a loss to know how to answer that question. If you don't see why we'd be special and different from everything else in creation, that because we can do poetry, we can write a novel, we can think philosophical thoughts, we can do calculus, and we can think about the morality of our behavior, I don't know what kind of answer could possibly satisfy you at that point.
Well, obviously the kind of answer that I offered, but...
So in other words, according to Craig, what makes a complex nervous system special is not all the impressive shit that it can do. Rather, what makes it special is that God cares about beings that have them. He doesn't give a shit about the fact that people care about such things. What really matters to him is what God thinks. But why? Why does the fact that God values us make us valuable? Why is it that the idea that God values us would be the only reason to think we are valuable?
I'm tempted to say I could play this game, and that's unfair, because of course it's not a game, but I could pose the same kinds of questions to you. Perhaps I will, in 10 minutes. I could say, look, all right, so God says, you guys are really, really special.
Right.
So, how does his saying it make us really special? But you see, he gave us a soul. How does our having a soul make us special? Whatever answer you give, you could always say, with regard to that, what's so special about that?
And this, I think, is a central problem with the idea that morality comes from God. Why ought we align ourselves with God's moral preferences? Why is something good just because God says so? Craig might say that we should do as God says because God is by nature good. But why should God's nature be the standard by which we judge things to be good? And another of Craig's weird ideas is that if what we do does not have eternal cosmic significance, then it really has no significance at all, and ethics is illusory.
You're thinking, it's got to be meaning on a cosmic scale. That's where some of the points about accountability come in as well.
Yes.
So, fine, I believe that humans are just creatures that evolved on this tiny little speck of dust. But I don't see how the denial of deeper meaning should give me any reason to think, therefore I'm committed to ethics as illusory.
Yes, it is the case that what we do today is not going to make any difference to what the universe is like a quadrillion years from now, but Craig somehow thinks that this therefore means that the consequences that we face today are somehow completely irrelevant. This seems bonkers to me, and to Kagan too.
The thought that everything perishes in the heat death of the universe, like Russell's credo, is so depressing, so awful that it just seems to put a question mark behind everything we do. All our accomplishments, all our deeds just seem so trivial in light of this cosmic doom that awaits us all.
But not for me.
Yeah.
It seems to me...
I've never seen Craig so uncomfortable in a debate before. So check that one out. It's one of my favorites.